Today's episode, des pommes de terre au basilic. So we're going to need some basil, which is our primary ingredient. It's a fragile herb, and the name basil comes from basileos, the Greek word for king. And we're also going to use a potato. Now the potato is a nice neutral background that really showcases the flavor of the basil. You get the clove notes, camphory flavor, the freshness of it. And here are the ingredients, just 4 of them. Potatoes, butter, fresh basil leaves, and salt. And for equipment, we don't need that much, just a sharp knife, a cutting board, and a heavy pot with a cover. Okay, so first things first, we peel the potatoes. Now I'm going to speed through that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to halve our potatoes straight down the middle, just like this. Then we take each half and we cut them in half again. So we quarter our potatoes. And once we've done quartering, we cut across to 3/4 inch thick pieces, about 3-4 cuts each. And then you should have something that looks just like this. And then we get through all our potato halves and you should have a nice pile of 3/4 inch thick potato pieces. So now for cooking the potatoes, we're going to melt the butter on medium-low in our pot. So now we're going to stir the butter around a bit. We just want to melt it. We don't want it too hot here. So keep on stirring until all the butter has melted. And then what we do is we add our potato pieces into the butter. Now we're going to stir this around to make sure that they're all coated. Make sure you get all that buttery goodness all over the potatoes. Now, as we stir, we're going to keep an eye out for browning. Now, this is very desirable to have. This is where the flavor comes from. So just keep on stirring until you find enough brown spots all over the potatoes. Once that's done, we're going to add some salt to the potatoes and stir it some more. The whole process should take you about 15 minutes. So keep on stirring. Then once all the salt has been evenly distributed amongst our potatoes, what we're going to wind up doing is we're going to preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, cover the pot, and put it in there for half an hour. As I mentioned earlier, basil is a fragile herb. Now that means if you handle it too much, a lot of the flavor is lost. So what I'm doing here is I'm removing the leaves with a pair of scissors from the node. You can pinch them off if you want, but just remember, don't handle it too much. Also, you want to ensure that the freshness and the volatile oils are kept in there. So we do a lot of these actions at the very last minute. So once the leaves are cut, we stack them on top of each other into little bundles, and then we thinly slice the bundles into what's known as a chiffonade cut. Now only do this 3 minutes before you take the potatoes out of the oven. If you do it too early, you'll lose a lot of that fresh basil flavor, and we want to make sure that this is as flavorful as we can get. So once the potatoes are out of the oven, we take the lid off, we transfer it into a bowl, and then what we do afterwards is we take our fresh basil leaves and then we sprinkle it all over our potatoes, ensuring that the fresh basil and all the volatile oils get mixed in with the neutral palate of the potato. Now this is a very classic dish from France, very simple in its method, very few ingredients. Nowhere to hide, but if you do everything according to the steps, you should get a very, very fragrant and flavorful dish. Here I'm serving it with a grilled pork chop, which I brined the day earlier. Very, very good accompaniment, and it tastes great. Des pommes de terre au basilic. Enjoy it, everybody.